Hey guys, so I already filmed this once and it drama, so let's start over again. Starting in the middle of everything here, I have not even cleared off this area. I wanted to give you guys an update about what has been happening with my trying to do all of the things and loop everything in. So the first lesson we learned is about Eastern hemispheres. And basically, I was going to do Journey to the Eastern Hemisphere, which is a like in-depth information about various countries in the Eastern Hemisphere. You read about like their political systems, economic systems, some history, some geography, stuff like that. Then you answer questions. So then when we started doing that, I was like, well, why not do the entire level of Eastern Hemisphere on top of everything else? And as you probably guessed, it was a disaster. It did not work. It was way too much. And so I just wanted to show you, for example, the first week the first day you're reading 3 chapters from one book, 27 pages from another book, plus this, plus the map stuff. And it's just too much. This really needs to stand alone on its own. And I was planning on doing this next year. So probably that's what I'm going to do, is just not think about how great it is until next year when we're doing it, because you cannot do a whole book shark thing on top of everything else. So that was the first fail that I learned this time around. However, I wanted to share with you this new thing we're doing. It is called Tea Time Together. And I'm not an affiliate because I didn't want to be obligated on anything. But I did want to share with you guys, this month is July. And so this is the actual product that you get, is this guide. And so the artist for July is Katsushika Hokusai, which did the Great Wave. And what was interesting to me is, like, I never even noticed that there's boats in this painting, or Mount Fuji and people. So you have 4 pieces of art for the month, and you have information about the painting, and lots of good stuff. And then you also have, this is all, so it's like a monthly guide that you get for poetry tea time. You also get a poem, you have music and other random cool stuff. And so you do this once a week with your kids. It's great. And there is a point to this, which I'll tell you in a second, but I just wanted to share one other thing if you end up wanting to purchase this. And right now they're 50% off. This painting in here, I think this is the one. No, it's this one. This is based on a poem. They're called the 100 Poems. And if I have good enough memory, I will put the link here. You can go read the poem by the 100 poets. And so I thought that would have been a really cool tie-in for the poetry aspect. But anyway, I was really struck when she announced the art for this month. I had to get this guide. And so as a result of that, I did decide to incorporate these 2 books, which are 2 of the Japanese titles from the Eastern Hemisphere, and we're using them as readers. So we're alternating. My 5th grader is reading this one aloud, and I am reading this one aloud, and it's obviously about a tsunami, and so I thought that would be really cool. Also, we may have an opportunity to go see this print. So that is the one thing that I saved from Eastern Hemisphere. I've always wanted to read this and have never gotten a chance to actually do it. The other thing I'm just going to show you while I have my laptop out is I purchased the September No Prep file from, what are their names? I can't believe it doesn't say. Those Moffat sisters. And so this is all the stuff that's in here. You've got sight words, nouns, fixing sentences, all this stuff. So I took all that stuff and I put it into a folder, which I'm calling my early finisher folder, which is not necessarily commonly something you hear about in homeschool communities, but in classrooms, I've heard of this. So I printed out a bunch of those, and I put them in here. Moffat Girls, that's their name. So you have color by false sight words, and I put like coloring stuff in here on the left side. And then there's like a nonfiction, this is a separate file, but I just put in here a nonfiction writing project, and then some back to school coloring pages. And so since we started 4 or 5 weeks ago, some of those have already been done. And then here's more color by sight words. We do a lot of coloring with my second grader. Word problems for math. Just kind of stuff that she could do on her own. And it is mostly work stuff versus like fun stuff. Here's a maze. I don't know if this was part of this file or not. And then here's a money thing I had. So anyway, this is a separate file I have for her to do if she finishes early. If you had followed me, I can't remember if I posted on Facebook or Instagram. She woke up early one day and did all of her independent work. So then I had to really scramble and find backup. Okay, so now we're going to get into my actual planner, and I'm going to show you kind of what I've actually been able to accomplish, because I know that's one of the main questions that I get from you guys is like, how do you decide stuff? What are you doing? I also wanted to share that my friend has really given me inspiration to pursue teaching Parzival this year for 11th grade. So she recommended this article. That is why I'm showing it to you here. I just have notes about CMEC stuff, so that's why I'm covering it up. I guess I actually have to unclip this so I could show you the stuff that we've done. Okay, so I think we started a week before this, and I wrote in my other planner. Basically, we're on like a summer light, or not a summer light, a homeschool light because of summer, if that makes sense. And so what I've been trying to do is use the Memoria Press second grade lesson plan, which you can download a sample on their website if you want to know what I'm talking about. It has like everything scheduled for your day. The main takeaways that I've seen is when I'm doing Latin, if I do the entire lesson in one sitting, that works out better instead of breaking it up how Memoria Press has it. I don't know why. It just seems so much harder to actually get through it. I've been trying to incorporate some things like science videos to cover days when we don't get science done, particularly for my second grader, because my fifth grader can do it independently. If you watched my last video about Memoria Press books, definitely like having books on hand is helpful. Obviously, I'm behind in some of those. And so what I started doing is splitting up a Memoria week across 2 weeks. So just getting done what I can get done. And then the next week, finishing up. So I wrote some notes here for myself. So the pacing, sometimes the Memoria Press plans go quickly, sometimes not so much. So to speed up or slow down, as it unfolds. Also, this is just general advice. Whatever you want to do, just try it and see what happens. Maybe it is too many books. Maybe it's not enough books. Maybe these books are boring. Maybe you want to I'm getting fatigued, for example, with doing only botany for science. So now I've incorporated astronomy and I'm still not satisfied. So we'll see where that goes. And then I wanted to say, and I wrote this on Instagram too, stick to the routine to make space for lady inspiration. So this is a saying by Julie Bogart, who is the creator of Brave Writer. If you have a routine that you're doing every day, then when you have really cool things like this wave thing happen and you want to follow that, you can. So I have been able to do that because we're sticking to a schedule the rest of the time. And then the other point I wanted to make more generally is that just because you bought something, it doesn't mean that you have to use it right now or this year or that you'll like it. And if you don't like it, sell it on eBay or sell it on Facebook or wherever. That's kind of the bigger picture that I want to convey to you guys in general. Oops, dropped a bottle. I buy books and they sit on my shelf for 5 years and they don't work for this kid. Guess what? They might work in the future. And that has been lately happening. Or like with this Eastern Hemisphere, I've now had 3 kids go through it. I'm about to have a 4th kid go through it. That doesn't mean that, I don't know. You get what I'm saying, I think. So anyway, this is this year. We had a bar mitzvah this weekend. That was a big, obviously, undertaking. And also we had a lot of stuff that we had to do. to get ready for that. So you can see, like, some days, I don't even know what we did this day. We probably went to the pool or something. But I'm not worried about it because that's why we homeschool year round, so that we can have this flexibility. We have a lot of birthdays coming up and our wedding anniversary and these other things. So I'm getting to stuff when we can, and I'm trying to make priorities of things. So, the other thing is I'm trying to prioritize this year the Brave Rider darts, particularly, maybe some of the arrows. I'm not sure, but I really want to do a lot of these. We went to the zoo and we saw a silverback gorilla, and I just have to do the one and only Ivan, which is one of the book club picks, but also I just wanted to do that this year. So I'm going to set aside my planner now, and I will share some other random candid things with you guys about what we're doing. So first of all, I really want to share this book. My friend recommended it to me because David Sloan is a Waldorf teacher, and he has an online Parsifal class. And so I recently found that and thought that was amazing. And she told me about this book, and it even mentions the book by Neil, I think Postman is his name, Amusing Ourselves to Death, which is an amazing book. And this talks about how to reach teenagers through literature, and I love it. Another book I'd recommend if you're interested is called The Vanishing American Adult. That's just been on my mind lately. So this is just a book that I'm reading. If you saw, or actually maybe I'll post later on Instagram, the other books about Parsifal I'm looking at. I might have shared them. I can't remember. Anyway, this is just something I'm doing for mother culture, I guess is what you'd call it. If you're a Charlotte Masoner, if you're a Waldorf, I don't know what you'd call it. Leading by example if you're a TJ Ed. Anyway, doing that. Related to these two books is this is the Core Knowledge, Tsars and Shoguns, Early Russia, Feudal Japan. This is actually supposed to be a really short unit, but we are spreading it out because if you're familiar with these books, they're very dense. They're, they're text readers. So we're doing about a half a chapter per lesson, and you can get this on coreknowledge.org for free as a free download. And there are a couple of like worksheets and map work and stuff like that you can do if you want, or not. You can just use them as readers. So we're still doing this. The first half is about Russia, so it actually does not have any bearing on the Japanese stuff we're studying, but it will. Then we are doing the Halliburton book. The first two chapters are on bridges. The first one is the Bay Bridge. The second one is the Golden Gate Bridge. Third chapter is about Yosemite. So we just finished those three, which is faster paced than prescribed, I think. But, you don't have to follow the pace of things. If you want to read it more quickly or more slowly, you can. That's the beauty of homeschooling. So I have been reading this aloud, and then my son has narrated it a couple times, I think. The next thing we are doing is Prairie School. This is a second grade book for Memoria Press. This is the student guide. I will show you what it looks like. Make sure her name is not in here. Yeah, okay. So for every lesson you have vocabulary. There's a separate second grade dictionary which only has the words from Memoria Press's literature, but I lost it, so I'm just telling her the definitions because I don't want her looking in the dictionary. It will take forever. So you have to write the definition of these things, and she's still doing phonetic spelling, and I am supporting that if you can't tell what the words are. Then there are comprehension questions, and this is still comprehension questions, and then there's discussion questions. And something that I adore is that in future chapters there are art prompts. So draw what you think the prairie looked like, or what, I can't remember another one, but it's something like that. So that's really cute. So the way that this works, this is assigned in the Memoria Press lesson plans. It tells you exactly what to do, like read chapter 1 and do the vocabulary or whatever. So this is the first book. I think there are 4 or 5. This book is darling. If you haven't read it before, I would recommend it. I think I might have even gotten this through like either buying a set of fiction books off of Lakeshore or a different program. I'm not sure. But this is my second time using the student guide, and I just really like how this works. I'll just show you this because I have it here. This is from that second grade Moffat Girls thing. It's just going back over even or odd bubbles. I think this is from the same thing. I don't know, but it's Moffat Girls anyway. So that's what we did as one of her early finisher things for today. We are still doing Intro to Grammar School Latin. I really like it. It is a lot, especially with a 7-year-old and a very physically active 10-year-old who just wants to go outside and play baseball all day. But it's not too hard. It's just hard work. We are learning the first half of the Pledge of Allegiance in Latin, and I highly recommend getting the classical pronunciation streaming audio to help you with this, because even if you read, that a C is only pronounced as a K sound, it's still helpful to hear someone pronouncing it. So we are still doing that. We are doing Handwriting Without Tears, this book, and this book, Cursive Kickoff. There's names on that, so I'm not showing the whole thing. We are doing The Iron Dragon Never Sleeps still. This is from our California history, which I've talked about before. The charter kind of put a wrench in plans, so I'm just getting to this now. It is specifically about how the Chinese did backbreaking work and were very prejudiced. What's the word? People committed prejudice against them. I can't think of the right verb tense right now. So that's very thoughtful and I like it. And it's about the railroad in particular, which is interesting. That's the Iron Dragon, spoiler alert. We are doing The Princess and the Goblin. This is a widely used Charlotte Mason book. Ambleside and others use it. It is, I think I've already talked about this before. I can't remember, but it's going well. I would like to read it more often, but I haven't had the time. There's a Sophia the First episode, if you're a TV watching family, where there's parallels to this. So I thought that was interesting and my kids noticed it. Probably not surprising to anyone. The 6-year-old that loved the Blue Fairy book is now demanding 7-year-old demanding to read the Red Fairy book. So we're reading parts of this, not as part of any program. I just have a lot of these, not all of them. Wildlife's in Woods and Fields. I don't think we even started this, but I had it here for today. Native plant stories. I love this. It is true to the native tales I have read before in terms of the way that it is taught and how spirits embody different forms and try to teach people things. I just think it's great. This was recommended by I think 2nd grade Waldorf free resource that I found, but it also goes really great if you're studying botany. So that's a 5th grade thing. So that works good for that. And just reverence and lots of great things out of this. If this is your first video you've watched on my channel, there's also native animal stories, which are also great. And we have done those in the past. King Arthur and His Knights. This version is very specific. I have several versions of this book. I think I have a pile and a green. So that would make that 3 versions. I was able to get the pile version from the library, but for various reasons, I wanted to make sure we got this version. So we're doing that. We are still plowing through The Wild Robot because I had this as a read aloud with my big kids, but now my littlest school-aged kid, who is 7, she was 2, so we're starting this over because we wanted to read the 3rd book, which is also now a Brave Writer book, so lots of incentive to finish this, and the 2nd one. We'll see if we can beat the clock. Then we are doing, we started this as our 5th grade main lesson. Really, why did we do that first? Because I wanted to. My 2nd grader has been interested in Egyptian things, and the way that I do things in my homeschool is based on what is something I'm curious about. What am I interested to learn in? What do I feel like we haven't covered? What do I want to learn about with my kids? And so that's why we did this. I've had this book for 6 years, so I am able to just pull it off the shelf. And there's other reasons, but we started with this because I felt like it. And we did our first main lesson page. today. So it's kind of Waldorfy, kind of notebooky. Obviously, I did the writing and my daughter did all the drawings. So that was nice. And this is from the Isis and Osiris chapter. And I'm kind of a bad Waldorfer, so don't follow me and ask me how to do things properly because I will not be able to tell you, but I can kind of do it. I have the right crayons, which we didn't use. We used these crayons, which we got on sale at Target. But, kind of Waldorfy-ish. At least to have the right books, right? The other new thing we started is this by Memoria Press, the student guide. Again, you have... It's the same format as the second grade one. You have vocabulary, comprehension questions, quotations, discussion questions, enrichment. Obviously, we didn't do this all at once because it's a lot and fatigue and physically active people who want to play baseball. I have heard that there are problematic parts of this, so I do plan to be on the lookout for it and address it or edit it out, whatever makes the most sense. But I'm using it because I had not heard that the entire story was problematic. It was just particular parts and portrayals of people. So if you are concerned about that, make sure you look it up. But I feel like this is an example of a book where it may just be a reflection of the time. And so we can either discuss that specifically like we're doing with this book and the way that people are treated and talked about. I feel like it's a similar strategy to discuss things. So this is a Memoria Press thing. There's, I think, My Side of the Mountain is another one we're going to do. There is one for the Blue Fairy book. I don't know if we're going to do it because I'm, to be honest with you, kind of sick of the Blue Fairy book. But we will see. And then I can't remember what the fourth book was for that level, but I was going to sub it with 21 Balloons, I think, because I own that book. And it's always good to use what you have. So that's kind of an overview. There are, of course, other things that we're doing, but I don't have them at my fingertips. This is kind of what we're doing on a rotational basis. I did want to add one last thing, which is that the second grade Memoria Press grammar is assigning this. So we have gone over nouns. We have gone over, what have we gone over? Sentences, I guess we're going to go over. Complete sentences, verbs, action verbs. For example, what is the verb? Circle it. So this is assigned in the second grade lesson plans, and I'm just seeing if I can reach it without knocking this entire thing over for you guys. I don't have it here. I only have enrichment. Anyway, that's kind of what we have going on a daily basis. Like I said, there are other books we are rotating through, but that's kind of the core. Like these are the things where I'm reaching for the most. I'm still trying to finish Winnie the Pooh, which obviously I don't have here. And there are other CMEC books that I am trying to make a priority, but the ones that I've showed you are really the main ones. Same thing goes for second grade. I'm still trying to figure out some other things with my older kids, but I wanted to give you guys the update of the big fail I discovered, which was trying to do the Eastern Hemisphere with everything else. We're really using Memoria Press as the backbone, like the bones of the day. And then I'm trying to weave in books from the CMEC, as well as Waldorf Main Lesson. Another thing that I just remembered before I cut this off is I checked out all those books from the library about saints, and I've just been reading them to my daughter, like, go pick which one looks interesting. I'm not good at the whole, in September do this saint, and then do another one in November and have it be about St. Nicholas. We've just been reading books because I just can't micromanage to that extent, and also I'm worried about remembering to get the library books on time and all of the things. So that's what we're doing. I hope this video made sense. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or there's something I said I was going to post that I forgot in the description, please let me know and I will put it there for you. And thanks for watching.